Hey everyone, today let's talk about PowerShell. I know that there's a lot of people out there that aren't very familiar with PowerShell, so I wanted to kind of get started here. This is the first video, hopefully in a series where I will just kind of go through some very common PowerShell things that we can see. So if you're new to PowerShell, I recommend working in the PowerShell ISE. This is mostly because when you work in the PowerShell ISE, there's something called IntelliSense that helps you kind of pre-populate things that you might want to do. So if I choose Git right here, we can see that there are a bunch of different options that we'll go through. So if you're not very familiar with what might pop up, this is a great way to get started. Also along with set. And yeah, so those two things that I just showed you, both get and set, those are some of the biggest things that you can use to kind of get started with PowerShell. The first thing that I typically use PowerShell for is getting a lot of information. And then when I get that information, maybe I want to manipulate it. For example, migrating data from one place to another or migrating files from one place to another is one very easy way of using PowerShell and one of the most powerful ways you can use PowerShell. So we can easily begin using PowerShell by git system. See right here, I'm already so if we click Get Net Adapter Hardware Info, we press F5 on my computer, we can see that we have both Wi-Fi and Ethernet adapters, which is cool. So we got the info. Is there anything that we can set on the adapter? Let's check that. Set net adapter. No. So we can set other network adapter things. So if we wanted to say get net adapter F5, see what we get. Okay, cool. So now we got a bit more info here, but we don't really know fully what these are named. So how can we get that out of here? So yeah, then we could do like a for each here. And then so one thing that you might have seen me just do right here that is very good for PowerShell and very useful for PowerShell is using a pipe. You can pipe a lot of things into PowerShell. You can make essentially a whole script that is nothing but a one-liner in PowerShell, which is one way that it's very, very powerful. Then you got this for each object, and what that means is for every single line that it sees from this initial result right here, it will then do this set task. And this set task means the $ under means anything it grabbed from this previous result. So it's like, hey, any previous result I just grabbed is $_. Then the period dot name, which these are, I don't know if these are called objects or values or whatever they are. These are different things you can use. So you might have seen when I did $_, we can get the driver date. So yeah, let's get the driver date of each one. And it will go right down the line that it did before. So we can see that it already went Bluetooth network, virtual Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet. Driver date, boom. So we can see that this Bluetooth network connection adapter here, this is an old driver. Actually, sorry, it's a V Ethernet. It doesn't have a driver version for the other one. But how do we know for sure? What can we do to verify that we're looking at the right one here? We can do a _.name, and then we can run that again. So we can see Bluetooth version. And then yeah, it was actually the V Ethernet that didn't have anything assigned to it. So then we got the Wi-Fi driver, the Ethernet driver, and so on. So let's see. Let's see what can we do. So we got So we'll grab the current name like we did before. And then what we'll do is we'll set net adapter dash name. And what we'll do is we'll probably need the, let's see, we might need something to kind of identify, what it is. Okay, so dash, yeah, let's see, what can we do? We can set the MAC address, do a no restart, set a VLAN ID. I don't want to do that because I might mess up my network because I don't really use VLANs at the moment. So looks like there's not a lot of things that we can set with this at the moment. So let's see if there's something that we can set. We get like some sort of like system information. Nope. Let's try getting get item dash path. So what we'll do is then we'll do C Windows System 32. And what this will do is this will go through and grab all the files inside of C Windows System 32 and it'll display them for us. Oh, I'm wrong. It just got the directory. So what we'll want to do then is we'll want to add that in there. And that should, no, interesting. Oh, yes, get items, star dot star. There. Oh, I can't find it. My apologies. If we want to see something that's inside of a folder, we need to use the get child item. There we go. So now this will get everything that's inside of C Windows System 32. The previous thing would only get the item of C Windows System 32, which is the directory, which makes more sense. But now what we can do with get child item, if we wanted to get crazy, is we can do something called recurse. And recursion, what that will do is that will iterate through every single folder that's inside of System 32, look inside of there and tell me that, and it'll just keep going deeper and deeper into this tree as it gives me everything in there. So we can see this is already taking a little bit longer than it did previously, but we can cancel out of that. So one thing that I like to use a lot of the times is if we get item dash path C Windows is utilize something known as verbose mode. Verbose mode is great when you're copying a bunch of files because what that will do is that will show you, whatever you want. They'll show you just like info. Let me run it. So that ran pretty fast. There must not be a lot of verbose info in there. Let me see if I have a big file that we can do copying on. And yeah, so what we'll do is we'll do copy item to C users Donald download DaVinci Resolve. And we'll copy that to C destination C Windows temp dash verbose, and we should see here that it was performing the operation, which again, that's very nice to see if you're copying a bunch of files over, as you want to know what files are being copied and where it's at and so on. So that's really as far as I kind of want to get into here for my first video. Just kind of a recap here of a few items that I showcased. I mentioned that you can use get and set to both get info and set info based on different things inside of Windows, which is very useful if you're getting files from somewhere or getting info from somewhere and setting it somewhere else. We showed how we can utilize verbose mode to get more info out of a command, because without verbose mode, we wouldn't know that it says, hey, there's all this copy file operation being done. And then we can also see how the recursion inside of like get child item is able to kind of reiterate through multiple folder paths and so on. If you like this video, gives it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, gives it a thumbs down. If you're interested in more IT videos, make sure you follow along. If you like PowerShell, type PowerShell down in the comments below, and I'll make sure to keep posting more videos. Have a good one.